All right, buckle up because this is gonna be a long video. Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Danica. I'm a part-time reseller based in Calgary, Alberta. I sell on Poshmark Canada, Poshmark US, and eBay, and I come out with new videos every Monday and Thursday about reselling on different platforms and cross-listing, and that is part of the topic of today's video, okay? Before we get into it, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, make sure you do before you go and give me a little thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. So today's video is all about automation, which is a bad word when it comes to reselling, okay? Yes, automation. We've all been taught and conditioned that if you talk about automation, if you buy automation and use automation in your closet, you're gonna get shut down, which technically in the fine print somewhere, it does say we're not allowed to use automation and that you're at risk of your closet getting shut down. Okay, let's get that out of the way. That's the disclaimer. I'm not saying to use automation. I'm just sharing what I do, what I've done, and what works for me and what doesn't work for me. I wanted to make this video because I think at this point I have used every automation tool that is on the market when it comes to Poshmark, okay? I have used Posher VA, I used Posh Closet Assistant. What was the first one I used? Something like that. I've used those first two that I used, I basically paid them to use a bot, which I didn't realize I was doing at the time. But once I just took control of my own automation, I realized that's exactly what they were doing. So virtual Posh Assistant and something else. Maybe it was just called Closet Assistant or something like that. And then I went to Posher VA. And then I went to One Shop. And then I tried using Prime Lister, I went back to One Shop, and now I'm using Posh Sidekick, okay? Yes, I am all in on Posh Sidekick right now. So I wanted to do a review of my experience using Posh Sidekick because I think more of us Canadians are kind of taking the leap over to that automation tool, and I feel like there's just not that there's a lack of Canadian Poshmark content. There are a few Canadian Poshmark YouTubers, but there's not as many as there are in the US. So when you're trying to find that information, sometimes it can be kind of hard, or you want a different perspective, or whatever the case may be. I know myself when I'm making a decision, I want to listen to a few different people so that I can see if their opinions are similar, if they're different, if they're cohesive. Anyway, whatever. It takes me forever to make decisions, and that is why. So when actually Poshmark Sidekick reached out to me and said that they wanted to offer me a 1-month trial, and I was just finishing up my month with One Shop. I had a subscription to One Shop, and when Poshmark Sidekick reached out to me, I still had a few weeks to finish out my contract with One Shop. So I replied to them and was like, I'm very interested in this, and so I'll let you know when I'm ready to sign up. The setup was a little bit complicated for me. Personally, it took me a while to be able to connect both my closets, but I think when you're in the trial period, you're only technically supposed to have one connected. But I sent them screenshots because when I had reached out to them, or when they reached out to me, I had specifically asked if I could use it for both my closets simultaneously, and they said yes. And then also it defaulted to the 7-day trial, and so again I messaged them and sent them a screenshot where it said that I could get 28 days, and they right away were able to extend my trial. And so that is one thing that I would say is really good in terms of Posh Sidekick, is that their response time is so quick and their customer service is really good. I never had an issue with them not replying to me or not being able to resolve my issue. So I kind of did a quick little recap the first few weeks I was using it, and then I kind of updated it at the end. So this is just what my first thoughts were with Posh Sidekick, okay? The setup was like a little bit complicated, but we got there in the end, and it was pretty easy to set up in the app once I was signed up. It is not the most user-friendly, but if you just like play around with the settings, you can figure out what you want. So you can decide how many shares you want a day, or if you just want it to be sharing all day. You can decide what actions you want it to take for you. If you want it to follow new closets for you, if you want it to return shares for you, if you want it to share to parties for you, if you want it to return follows. And one of the biggest tools that I like to use is the automatic offer to liker. Okay, so once someone likes an item in my closet, I think it's like 10 minutes later, it'll send a 20% off offer. I do have that turned off right now, but that's like a different thing, and apparently there's a new setting that I could use to achieve the results I want. It also automatically relists for you. So I have it set that like if a listing is 60 days, it'll relist it for me. So those are all like really useful things to have automated. One thing I love about Posh Sidekick versus One Shop was app-based as well, but Prime Lister and Posher VA are Chrome extensions, and so I needed to have my laptop on all the time for it to be running. Having something that's app-based is such a game changer for me because I can just have it running in the background on my phone and it's just doing all the work for me. Even when my phone is on airplane mode, it's running. Like, I don't need to worry about if my closet's being shared, if I'm sending offers or anything like that. I can pretty much have it going on in my phone, and as long as I'm listing and shipping, the rest of my business is like just on autopilot. So that is one thing that is so useful. And to me, yes, automation can be like a little bit costly to use, like maybe $60 a month. Your average automation tool will run you about $40 to $60, I would say, but it pays for itself so quickly. So that is one expense in my business that makes sense. And yeah, obviously I wish it was cheaper, but I can't develop the tool, I can't run the tool, so I don't mind paying that to someone else to develop and to have that going for me. Another thing that I really liked when setting up my automation is that on One Shop, I also had the automatic offer to liker set up, but it was just a blanket 20% after 10 minutes, whereas on Posh Sidekick, I can exclude some listings. So some of my like higher end luxury listings, I didn't want that offer to go out because I wanted likes to kind of pile up so that I could send like one blanket offer on those items and it would hit more people, if that makes any sense. I also love that I can run it on both my closets simultaneously. I am kind of annoyed because when I ended up buying the actual service after my trial was up, it's tiered pricing if you have more than one closet, which is annoying to me, but it is what it is. But I like that I can set it up to share both simultaneously, whereas with One Shop, I hounded them like constantly. I was like, it would be really useful to be able to run both my closets at the same time using one tool. Like, I don't really mind paying a little bit more because yeah, it like, instead of paying for two different automation, I'm only paying for one. And One Shop just said basically there's no demand for it, so we're not going to develop it, where that is just like so annoying. So I had to log out of my Canadian Poshmark, log into my US Poshmark, log out of my US Poshmark, log back into my Canadian Poshmark just to like have automation going. And then in the end, I just had it running on my Canadian side and just like manually shared my Poshmark US, which I usually have around 200 listings, so it's not that big of a deal. I think if I was doing it full time, I would be able to share manually more often because of the bulk sharing option on Poshmark. It wouldn't take very long because I'd be home on my computer all day, but I'm not really at home all day very often. Like, my work takes me away from home, and honestly, even so, like when I am home, I am outsourcing. I'm out like doing stuff. So I can't be tied to my computer all the time sharing. So I don't know. That's a decision that you have to make if it's worth your time or not. They do have a few other tools that I just haven't used yet. So I know that they do have Magiscriptor, which is an AI tool that will write your description for you. I haven't personally used it yet, but I know Tabs does. So I'm gonna link her video in the description that talks about Magiscriptor. That is something that I'm interested in trying out. I don't know. We'll see if I like it or not. I'm pretty quick with my descriptions because I'm like pretty plain with them, but maybe I should try it out and see if it's worthwhile for me. And they are also coming out with a cross-listing tool, I think. So those are things that are in the works for Posh Sidekick, and I'm really excited to see which direction it's going. So far, I only have good things to say, really. I've really enjoyed my use of their tool, and this is not sponsored. I mean, if they wanted to pay me to make videos for them, they can do that, but this is not sponsored at all. This is all my own opinion. I promise I would not be saying these things if I didn't actually believe them. So here we are 1 month in, and these are my observations now that I've used the tool a little bit longer. Okay, I have my notes over here if you see me looking over there. I really like, again, that it's on my phone, it's app-based, and I'm not tied to my computer all day. Honestly, I like using Posher VA. I didn't have an issue with it, but just the fact that it was on my computer was so inconvenient to me. And also, Posher VA does not support Poshmark Canada. I asked them about it years ago, and again, there's no demand for it according to them, so they're not going to develop it, which is so annoying. The support is really good. Like I said, any issue I've had, I've been able to resolve very quickly with our support team, and they're just so responsive. And customer support to me is something that is so important. I work in hospitality, I work in customer service, so I see the value of being able to provide that service and provide it well. I mean, when it comes to Poshmark, their customer support is horrible. Their buyer and seller support is so bad. It takes forever to get a hold of them and to hear back from them, which is just honestly, in my opinion, shameful. I will say that day in and day out, their support is so bad. But when it comes to the different automation tools that I've used, like I said, Posher VA was okay, but there was always something missing, right? I wasn't able to use it on my Canadian closet or whatever it was. It just wasn't doing everything for me. One Shop was app-based, so I did really like that. But again, it did support Poshmark Canada, but I couldn't have them both running at once, which to me, again, was an inconvenience. I'm not saying that everyone needs to bend to me, but why would I use a tool that doesn't have everything that I need when there's a tool that does have everything that I need and just makes it easier for me? The one thing that One Shop did have is you could build a listing directly in the app, although I didn't really do that. I did it to try it out and to experiment with it, but it wasn't really something that I was using often. Posh Sidekick does have a background remover tool in their app, but I also haven't used that because I just use Canva to remove the background on my cover photos. The Posh Sidekick app also has a Facebook group. So once you are part of Posh Sidekick, you have access to the Facebook group, and I really like being part of that group because I don't spend too much time on Facebook, but I like being in groups where there's different ideas being bounced around and just people bringing things up that you might not always think of ways to drum up sales or anything like that. And I just find it's a very supportive community, so I've really enjoyed being a part of that. I really like that you can set different criteria. So like I said, I can exclude some listings from my offer to liker, or I can like decide to share certain listings, or like every little option is customizable, which I really, really appreciate, because I don't know, you can just like run your closet however you want it. You don't have to have like only sharing or only self-sharing, only party sharing, like whatever you would normally be running your closet manually, you can automate. So that is just like, love that. The only negative that I would say so far is that when I signed up for the trial, I didn't realize it was tiered pricing to have more than one closet set up on Posh Sidekick. It wasn't like a substantial amount. It wasn't double the price, I don't think. But again, it would have been nice if it was mentioned. So I kind of like was expecting it, where I was just like, oh, okay, I guess, well, I'll just like pay extra to have my 2 closets running. I wanted to kind of check to see also if I would be making more sales, and I feel like my sales have been higher since using this tool. I don't know if I would accredit it all to Posh Sidekick. I definitely have also like focused on just sourcing better items and listing better items that sell for more money, but I think that all kind of goes hand in hand because I'm not worrying about my closet as much, so I have time to like go out and source better items and to put my energy elsewhere. So that's been useful. Like I said, I was using the automatic offer to liker tool, and I was probably making like a couple sales a week just from that tool, just from someone accepting the automatic offer that was sent out. I did turn it off a few days ago before closet clear out because I wanted to send messages for closet clear out and didn't make a single sale on closet clear out. So I'm gonna turn the tool back on and hope for the best. So my ultimate goal when it comes to reselling and automation is if there was one tool that I could use that does everything I need. So what I mean from that is if I could pay one subscription fee and have one tool where it was sharing, sending offers, deleting items from other marketplaces once it's sold on one. If I was able to cross list on one, like all of it, that would be the best for me. And I thought I had found that in Prime Lister, honestly. The only negative with Prime Lister when I decided to put everything there was that it was, again, a Chrome extension, is not app-based, but that was something I was willing to kind of work with at the time. I really, like, it breaks my heart because I really want to love Prime Lister. I want it to work for me so badly because it is like, it has so much potential. But it's like a really good cross lister. I really, really, really like it as a cross lister, but that's pretty much all it's good for, in my opinion. The sharing automation, first of all, the subscription it's expensive. It's very expensive to add that to your subscription. And you can schedule it, but like my scheduling was always so messed up. The fact that I canceled my Prime Lister sharing subscription probably at this point almost a year ago, and I still get emails every day being like a task was missed. Yeah, because I don't use you for sharing anymore. Like, it's correct. There's some like sharing at somewhere in their system where it says that it should be sharing my closet and it's not, and it's like, but other than that, it was very similar to Posher VA. If you've ever used Posher VA, you know what I mean. Like, you can schedule your sharing, so you can say, I want it to share all my listings at 1 a.m., 5 a.m., 7 a.m., blah, 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 whatever times you can set it up, and it just automatically shares for you at that time. My issue with Prime Lister was that every time it shared my closet, it opened up a new tab on Chrome, and then my computer would crash because I would be gone for 4 days and it would share my closet however many times. And there would be like, I would come home and there'd be like 60, 80 tabs open, because let's say it shared 10 times a day on 2 closets, that's 80 times. And my computer obviously couldn't handle that because I had a MacBook Air, and would just like crash. And then like it wouldn't crash on day 4, it would crash on like day 2. So then I was like not even getting the sharing done half the time I was away, which was the whole point of me getting automation. So that was annoying. But other than that, it is a decent tool if you're home and you can troubleshoot it, I guess. Where am I? I feel like I've gone so off script. So yeah, I was like really wanting Prime Lister to be that like all-in-one tool for me, but unfortunately it just isn't. I do still use it for cross-listing, and I do still recommend it for cross-listing. Like I have no issues with it cross-listing at all. But yeah, if they like made Prime Lister app-based, I would go to Prime Lister. But unfortunately for me, I still need to have like a few different subscriptions to get everything done that I need done in my business. So again, I have like an automation roundup here at the end. Sidekick, app-based sharing, working on cross-listing software. They also have the AI Magiscriptor software where I can't speak on that again because I have not used it, but I think you like buy points or something, and then it takes a certain amount of points to write your description. I don't know. In full honesty, I've read the descriptions and it just, I don't know, it doesn't sound like me. And I don't know, it's weird. But if it like, I don't know, something about it just weirds me out, but I have nothing against anyone who uses it. Like they're probably listing a bunch more than I am because it's so much faster. But I don't know, I don't know. Next, One Shop, also app-based, does cross-listing apparently, but I never used it for that, and there's no support for Canada. There's been like a huge exodus from One Shop for Canadians because like they just refuse to support our marketplaces. Like they don't even support poshmark.com.ca separately. They just have it as like a Poshmark. That's why I was able to use it for both, but I had to log in and out of them to use it on whichever other like closet. They refuse to add ebay.ca to their marketplaces that they support, and then yeah, it just like left such a bitter taste in my mouth when I left One Shop because they texted me and they're like, hey, we want to give you $10 off your next whatever if you come back. And I was like, no, I've like found a tool that does everything I needed to do, and like you guys just don't support Canadians. And they're like, we support every race, even Canadians. And I'm like, what? Canadian is not even a race, but whatever. Like it was just so bizarre. And they texted me like 5 times to be like, did you see that we sent you a $10 credit? And I was like, did you see that I obviously don't want to talk to you? Posher VA, Chrome extension based sharing. Again, no support for Poshmark Canada. This may be outdated information because I have not checked recently to see if Posher VA supports Poshmark Canada now, but I would assume they don't. I have not heard of a single Canadian Poshmark user that is using Posher VA. It is a decent tool if all you need it to do is sharing and you prefer a Chrome extension based automation. Prime Lister, again, there's different tiers of pricing for cross-listing and sharing. I have the basic one right now just for cross-listing, and I do like using it. It makes cross-listing so much easier. Again, all these automation is like obviously things you could do for free for yourself. It's not like this is a workaround and that you can't cross-list manually. This just makes it much faster for you. And to me, time is money, and if I'm spending like even 10% longer doing it manually, it's not worth it. Like this is just like you select the listings, you put cross list to whatever marketplace, okay, it opens the tabs, you fill out the blanks because it doesn't bring everything over, but it brings mostly everything over, and then list. I can cross list 20 listings in like 5 minutes, which is perfect for me. And yeah, okay, so that's the last one. I had issues with the sharing, and like my concerns just weren't really heard at Prime Lister when I reached out to them about my concerns with that I was having with the sharing, and that like it was just crashing my computer and all these tabs were open all the time, and like it would duplicate share. Like I don't know what was going on in their system. I tried to like delete everything and restart from scratch so many times, and it was just like always something was off. Like it would just like share one closet twice at the same time instead of, you know, and I had to like make a different Google account. It was like a whole thing. I needed to have 2 different Chrome windows open, so have one on Canada, one on US. Like, this is just so much easier. It's so much easier. And yes, I wish there was one program I could use for all of it. Right now, that's not where we are. But like I said, Posh Sidekick is working on some cross-listing a cross-listing tool. So hopefully that is done soon and it doesn't like add too much to the cost of the subscription. I guess we'll find out soon. And yeah, all in all, I am happy with my decision to go to Posh Sidekick. They've been really useful, and yeah, I really believe in automation. I think, yeah, it just makes your business run so much smoother. And if you are wanting to try automation and you like have questions, make sure you reach out to me. If you don't want to do it in the comments, because I totally understand if you're like feeling weird about talking about it openly, you can DM me on Instagram. My Instagram is in the description, as it always is. Again, Tab's video about Magiscriptor is going to be in the description, and I have affiliate links for all the tools that I use in the description of every video. I do not have affiliate links in the description for tools that I do not personally currently use or would not recommend. Like, I still have Posher VA in there because I do recommend it, even though I don't use it right now, if that makes sense. I did have a one-shop one, but honestly, I'm not going to share that one because I just don't recommend it. So yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. Shoot me a message on Instagram and let's get your closet going. What I really like about the Posh Sidekick trial as well is like, you don't need to put any payment info in there. You can just like sign up for a week and see if you like it. And if you do like it, then you can go ahead and pay for it. A lot of the trials, before you even sign up for it, you have to put your credit card information in it, and then if you forget to cancel it, it just starts charging you, which is such BS, honestly. But yeah, so let me know if you have any questions. Would love to chat, and I am wishing you so many sales. See ya!